Grammar Point with me, Teacher Katie. In these videos, we dive into the details of English grammar to see how it works. Let's get started. Alright everyone, I'd like you to look at this question that I have here. What will you do after class today? Think about how you might answer that question. I asked somebody that I know this question, and here's how they answered. I'll go home after class and do my homework. It probably won't take me very long. If I finish before 6 o'clock, I'll go to the movie theater tonight. Can you find all of the places where they used the future tense to talk about their plans? Here they are. Let's take a closer look at the different ways that they used will in those sentences. In the first one, they said, I'll go home after class and do my homework. Here they're talking about a future plan. In the second occurrence of will, they said, it probably won't take me very long. Here they're talking about a future probability. And I want you to take a look how we're using the word probably. Again, this is not certain, it's a probability, but if I'm going to use it in a negative sentence like I have here, it probably won't take me very long. Notice how we put probably first before will. Now I do have a note. In positive sentences, probably comes between will and the main verb. So you would say something like, I will probably finish early. Okay, moving on to the third occurrence of will. You can see they answered, if I finish before 6 o'clock, I'll go to the movie theater tonight. This one is a little different than the first instance of will, and mostly because we are using the future conditional here, and we're using this if clause, if I finish before 6 o'clock. So we've got a condition. So today we're talking about future real conditionals. This is also known as the first conditional. And we use this conditional to make future predictions. Here I have another example. If it rains tomorrow, I will bring my umbrella. Let's talk about the usage of the conditional using my example here. Now, the future real conditional is used to communicate a predicted, possible, or real result in the future if a condition is met. So in my example, the condition was rain, if it rains. Now, if the condition is met, what will I do? Oh, well, I'll bring my umbrella. If it doesn't rain, if the condition is not met, then it seems logical that I won't bring an umbrella. Now, I do want to note this is not the only possible result for the condition of raining. There are other results like staying home or wearing a raincoat, but I'm communicating here what I will do if it rains. I will bring an umbrella. So let's take a look at the structure. Remember, we're talking about things that are possible or real in the future. So here's my example sentence again. If it rains tomorrow, I will bring my umbrella. Let's take a look at the order that we put this sentence in. Here we have the if clause first, followed by a comma, and then we have the main clause. If it rains tomorrow, comma, I will bring my umbrella. Now, this isn't the only way that I could make this sentence. I could switch the order of the main clause and the if clause, just like this. I will bring my umbrella if it rains tomorrow. Now, I do want you to notice that if we put the main clause first, we don't use a comma. So, now let's take a closer look at each part of this sentence. I want you to look at the if clause, if it rains tomorrow, and take a look at the verb. What verb tense are we using? If you said present simple, you're correct. Now, let's take a look at the main clause. Take a look at will bring. What verb tense is that? Well, If you said future simple, you're right. And remember, we make that by using will plus the base verb. If you remember, there is another way we could use future simple, and that's by using be going to with the base verb. So I could take my main clause, I will bring my umbrella, and change it to I am going to bring my umbrella, and both have the same meaning. It's time to do some practice. Whenever we have practice time, there are 4 steps involved. First, you need to pause the video and answer all of the questions in a notebook. Then, after you've answered all the questions, click the play button and check your answers along with me. So here we are. Here are the practice sentences. And remember, you need to pause the video now and answer the questions in a notebook. All right, it's time to check your answers. Go ahead and check your answers as I read each of the sentences. If I get a scholarship, I will attend Harvard University. If Daniel goes to university, he is going to study business management. Number 3. If Tanya enjoys reading that book, she will read another book by the same author. They will eat the cookies if I leave them on the kitchen counter. You will be angry if I take your car keys without asking. And finally, number 6. We are going to leave early if the party becomes too noisy. How did you do? Write the number correct out of 12, because each sentence has 2 instances where you need to choose the correct verb. Go ahead, give yourself a score to see just how well you did. You can compare it whenever we do a later practice. Now we're going to look at some more parts of the structure, specifically the negative structure of conditionals. So, here I have a sentence. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, I'll go to the park. You'll notice that I added the word not in our if clause to make it negative if it doesn't rain. I could also have an instance like this. If it isn't too rainy, I'm going to take a walk. So here we're using the be verb, if it isn't too rainy. Now it's also possible to have the negative in the main clause of our sentence, and here's an example of that. If it rains tomorrow, I won't ride my bike. Or, if it rains tomorrow, I'm not going to leave my house. So you can see how we use the negative depending on if we're using will or be going to. Of course, just like in positive sentences, we could switch the order of the 2 clauses, and we could start with our main clause if we want. Just remember, if we do that, we don't use a comma. Now, here are some ways that we can make questions with conditional tenses. We could start by making yes or no questions. A yes or no question would look like this. Will you go to the park if it rains tomorrow? Or, are you going to go running if it rains tomorrow? So here you can see 2 examples of yes or no questions, depending on if we use will or be going to. I could also use information questions. Remember all those WH questions. So here's one example. Where will you go if it rains tomorrow? Or, what are you going to do if it rains tomorrow? Of course, we could use any of the WH question words, such as who or when or why. So, just like in our positive or negative sentences, we can switch the order of the main clause and the conditional if clause. So we could start with if it rains tomorrow in all of these instances. Just remember, if you put the conditional if clause first, you need to put a comma. So now it's time for us to practice with questions in negative forms. So again, you need to pause the video and answer the questions in a notebook. All right, now it's time to check your answers. I'll read the sentences, you check how you did. If I lend you $20, will you pay me back by Friday? If my fever doesn't go down, I won't go to work tomorrow. Where will you shop if the grocery store near your house closes permanently? If you tell him a secret, he won't tell anyone about it. Will they be angry if we are late to the meeting? She will ask the teacher for help if she doesn't understand the homework. How did you do this time? Go ahead and mark your total correct out of 12 and see if you've improved. All right, it's time for some extended practice. So I want you to now write 5 sentences using the future real conditional, answering this question: what will you do if this happens to you? So in the first picture, we've got a cup of coffee that's spilled on your homework. We've got a broken iPhone in the second picture. We've got a smashed up car. Looks like somebody got in a car accident in the third picture. In the fourth picture, we have a broken leg. And then, oh no, in the last picture, we have somebody's house on fire. So I want you to imagine if these things happen to you, what will you do? Thanks for watching. This has been a Grammar Point with me, Teacher Katie. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them below. And remember, if you're currently taking one of the courses, please submit your answers to the extended practice section using the link that was provided to you at the beginning of your course session. That's all for now, and until next time, keep practicing English!